What's up, guys? The only constant about the NFL is change. Throughout history, the league has had to introduce countless rule changes trying to eliminate dirty tactics and improve player safety. Some of the biggest rule changes stemmed from the actions of solely one player. Whether it was using a dirty trick or committing a dangerous act, the league was inspired from such actions by one player to change a rule. I'm Jason Biondo, and today we present 20 NFL players who are responsible for rule changes. Don't forget to subscribe to TPS and put on your notifications. We post videos every single day. Every day's new video, so subscribe. Do it. Number 20, Jimmy Graham's goalpost dunk TD. Jimmy Graham was a basketball player for the Miami Hurricanes college team, but later he decided to take up football. Years later, Graham is a perennial Pro Bowl tight end. Graham, a multi-sport athlete, tried combining the best of both worlds when he scored a touchdown for the New Orleans Saints. He used to love dunking the ball over the goalpost, but the NFL put an end to the fun in games by banning the goalpost dunk celebration. Graham got a $30,000 fine for performing the act in a 2014 preseason game. Then after that, he just stopped doing it. Boo. The NFL ruined all of Jimmy's fun. Shame on them. Number 19, Ricky Williams' bad hair day. The 1998 Heisman Trophy winner became notorious for his dreadlocks. And, it's usually a no-no to pull someone else's hair, especially during a game, but his hair was just so long. The defenders would sometimes grab Williams by the hair to tackle him. In the 2003 season, the NFL introduced the Ricky rule, in which hair was to be considered part of the uniform. Thus, players were allowed to tackle an opposing player by pulling on their hair. So I guess having short hair in the NFL gives offensive players an advantage. Number 18, Emmitt Smith. Keep that helmet on. Dallas Cowboys legend Emmitt Smith had a habit of taking his helmet off when he scored touchdowns, but the NFL's all-time rushing leader went too far while doing it one time, according to the NFL. In 1997, the NFL implemented the Emmitt Smith rule, which banned players from taking off their helmet while on the field of play. That's why they call the NFL the No Fun League. Number 17, Phil Dawson. Review the kicks. Phil Dawson kicked a game-tying 51-yard field goal in a 2007 game against the Baltimore Ravens. The ball initially bounced off the upright, and officials initially determined that the kick was no good. But back in 2007, officials weren't permitted to review this play. The refs then discussed and decided that the kick was good. The Ravens had to come back out and play overtime, and the Browns ended up beating them during the extra frame. So after the 2007 season, the NFL introduced the Phil Dawson rule, which allows officials to review any field goal or extra point that hits the upright or crossbar. Number 16, Deacon Jones, no more slapping. One of the most dominant pass rushers in NFL history, Rams legend Deacon Jones loved playing dirty when it came to evading offensive linemen. The two-time Defensive Player of the Year and Hall of Famer loved to slap O-linemen in the head. Jones said it gave him an initial head start on the pass rush. I doubt that. But for the 1977 season, the NFL outlawed the head slap rule, and life became so much more difficult for pass rushers. But safety first, right? It was probably the right call by the NFL. I would think, at least. Number 15, Lou Groza. No more taping up your kicks. Cleveland Browns Hall of Famer Lou Groza loved using 72-inch pieces of tape to line up his field goal attempts for better accuracy. But the NFL decided it was an unfair advantage. In 1956, the league stopped kickers from using any artificial aids that could help them on the field goal attempts. We're sure Minnesota Vikings kickers would love to travel back in time and stop this rule from being implemented, but unfortunately that's impossible. Number 14, Roy Williams horse collar tackle. Former Dallas Cowboys Pro Bowl safety Roy Williams would tackle players by any means necessary, even if it meant putting them in danger. Williams often tackled players with the horse collar, which led to 3 players suffering significant injuries. That included a broken leg and ankle injury for Philadelphia Eagles star wide receiver Terrell Owens during the 2004 season. After the 2004 season was over, the league made the horse collar tackle illegal, and players are now penalized if they commit the dangerous maneuver. Number 13, Greg Pruitt, no more loosey-goosey jerseys. Former Cleveland Browns running back Greg Pruitt liked wearing loose jerseys. So when opposing players tried to tackle Pruitt, they would grab his jersey just to rip a piece of the uniform off, and then he would escape their grasp. For the 1979 season, the NFL disallowed players from wearing such easily damaged uniforms. Pruitt lost his advantage, and evading tacklers became all the more difficult for running backs. Number 12, Dave Kasper and the Holy Roller. The Oakland Raiders and San Diego Chargers met in a 1978 regular season game. After this controversy, the NFL disallowed teams from purposely hitting a loose ball forward. Number 11, Steve Tasker, stay in bounds. Steve Tasker is one of the greatest special teams players ever, having been named to 7 Pro Bowls in his career. Tasker was superb at chasing down kick and punt returners. He also forced plenty of fumbles while chasing the return man down. Tasker also found a loophole in the rule, and he enjoyed running out of bounds so that he couldn't get blocked during return plays. It's pretty smart. But the NFL put a stop to Tasker's tactics. Players are now given 15-yard penalties if they initially run out of bounds on a kick or punt returns. Number 10, Isaac Curtis, 5-yard contact. Former Cincinnati Bengal wide receiver Isaac Curtis was nearly impossible to cover one-on-one. Nobody has the speed to keep up with Curtis, so opposing teams would play dirty. In other words, they'd hold or even make contact with Curtis in order to stop him from getting separation. Head coach Paul Brown lobbied for the league to change this, and they did just that. Defensive backs are allowed to make contact with wide receivers only from within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Any contact beyond those 5 yards become a penalty. It's pretty legit. Number 9, Lester Hayes, sticky substances. Former Raiders cornerback Lester Hayes liked putting the stickum substance all over his arms and uniform because, having stickiness all over your body will assist you in catching the football. But following the 1980 season, the NFL completely banned players from using such substances again. Unsurprisingly, Hayes' interception numbers went way down once the NFL banned stickum. Number 8, Trent Richardson, crown of helmet rule. Many fans will remember Trent Richardson as one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history. Browns and Colts fans do not have fond memories of him. But Richardson did change the game of football in one form. In his rookie season, Richardson used his helmet to initiate contact on Eagles safety Kurt Coleman. The NFL realized just how dangerous such a maneuver was, so they introduced a rule that bans a runner or tackler from delivering a blow with his helmet against an opponent when outside the tackle box. Richardson said the rule was his fault, but hey, it provided better player safety, which matters most these days. Number 7, Navorro Bowman, reviewing fumbles. A controversial play took place in the 2013 AFC Championship game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. On a 3rd and goal play in the 4th quarter, 49ers quarterback Navorro Bowman stripped Jermaine Kearse of the football and recovered it. Only problem, the officials claimed Seattle had possession, and they weren't allowed to review it according to the rule at the time. After the season, the league changed those rules, thus allowing officials to review any fumble recoveries. Oh, and the Seahawks got stopped on 4th and goal on the ensuing play, so the incorrect ruling by the refs didn't dictate the outcome of the game, in case any of you were even wondering, just saying. Number 6, Mark Gastineau, stop celebrating the sacks. One of the greatest pass rushers of the 80s. New York Jets defensive end Mark Gastineau loved dancing and showboating anytime he brought down a quarterback. But before the 1984 season took place, the league cracked down on the excessive sack celebration. Players would be fined or penalized for unsportsmanlike taunting. This started when Gastineau got into a fight with Rams offensive lineman Jackie Slater over one of his signature sack dances. Do a little dancey dance, you know what I'm talking about? Little dancey dance. Sometimes you gotta do a little dancey dance. I don't know. Number 5, Jerome Bettis' coin flip rule. The Detroit Lions hosted the Pittsburgh Steelers in a 1998 Thanksgiving game, which became infamous for a coin flipping controversy. The game required overtime, and Steelers running back Jerome Bettis apparently called tails on the coin flip. But even though the coin landed on tails, referee Phil Luckett said Bettis called heads, so he awarded the Lions the decision to kick or receive. Detroit received, and they drove down the field to win the game. After the coin flip debacle, the NFL changed the rule. Now a player has to decide heads or tails before the coin flip. Good call, NFL. Number 4, Carson Palmer rule. No more hits below the knees. Love it or hate it, the NFL has introduced numerous rules to protect quarterbacks from getting injured. But the first rule to protect QBs came into effect after the 2005 season when Carson Palmer suffered a gruesome knee injury in the Bengals playoff game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Referred to as the Carson Palmer rule, rushing defenders are not allowed to hit a quarterback in the knee area or below if the passer has one or both feet on the ground. It's not a foul if the defender is blocked into the QB, however. Hate these quarterback safety rules all you want, but the league had no choice but to implement this specific rule. They had to do it. Quarterbacks gotta be safe. Number 3, Burt Emmanuel, the catch/ground rule. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers trailed the St. Louis Rams 11-6 in the waning minutes of the 1999 NFC title game. Wide receiver Burt Emmanuel made a clutch catch at the Rams 22 with less than a minute left, putting Tampa in prime position to get the winning touchdown. But officials looked at the play and saw the ball touch the ground as he was controlling it, so they ruled it incomplete. The Bucs lost the game, and the NFL changed its catch rule the following season to emphasize that the ball could touch the ground as long as the receiver retains control. Number 2, Tom Brady tuck rule. Yeah, the classic Tom Brady tuck rule. Before he was an NFL legend and Super Bowl champion, New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady needed some help from a controversial rule. It dates back to the 2001 divisional round against the Oakland Raiders. Brady was hit while he was throwing by Raiders cornerback Charles Woodson. That caused a fumble, and the Raiders scooped up the loose football to seal the win. But officials reviewed the play and determined that Brady tucked the ball back towards his body while fumbling it. Thus, it was ruled an incomplete pass upon further review. The Pats would tie the game at the end of regulation before winning in overtime. And all this would eventually lead to their first Super Bowl in franchise history. After so many years of confusion with the rule, the NFL decided to abolish it in 2013. Of the 30 teams that voted on the decision, only one voted to keep it. You can probably guess who that one team was. Number 1, Bronco Nagurski, throwing behind the line. Chicago Bears legend and Pro Football Hall of Famer Bronco Nagurski changed the rules of the game forever with one big play in the 1932 NFL Championship game. The Bears went up against the Portsmouth Spartans, and the epic game ended in controversy. Nagurski's game-winning touchdown pass drew protests from the Spartans. Rules in 1932 stated that a player had to be at least 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage to throw a pass. The following year, the NFL simplified the rule, allowing players to throw from anywhere behind the line of scrimmage. What other NFL players were responsible for rule changes? Join us in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and Total Pro Sports on social media. We post great content all the time. At least go check out our profile. Just go look and be like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. I'll check it out. If you want to follow it. If you don't, that's cool. Make sure to like this video, because I know you did. So one click below, just click the button. That's all you gotta do. If this is your first time at TPS, make sure to subscribe, because we post videos every single day. Every day's a new video. So why would you not subscribe? As always, thanks so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo, and I'll see you later.
My knee.